Hey guys, so tonight I just want to talk a little bit about air pumps and air stones and why and how you would use these when you're setting up your goldfish tank. So this is an example of an air pump, and this is a Tetra Whisper air pump. These are my absolute favorite air pumps. I highly recommend these. They're very quiet. You can see that they have this kind of funny little almost like a spaceship shape, so that all the pressure is being put on these little nubs, and these have some rubberized ends on them, so it dampens the sound of the air pump a lot compared to other pumps that I've had in the past. So this is one for a smaller tank. I think this may be for like a 20 or 30 gallon, I can't remember exactly. But when you go to buy your air pump, you'll see on the box that they'll be labeled. You're just going to look for what aquarium size you have and pick out the appropriate size pump based on your aquarium size. If you want to run more than one airstone, you may want to get a pump that's a little bit bigger than your actual aquarium size, just so that it has a little bit more power. Same thing if you think that you're going to be upgrading anytime soon, you may want to buy a larger pump, just thinking about the fact that you may be getting a larger tank, and then you can just use it. Using a larger pump on a smaller tank isn't going to be a huge deal most of the time. Usually it's okay. So here's the air pump. So this is just a little one, and you'll see it comes with a single outlet. My lighting isn't great, so I don't know how well you guys can see this. Single outlet right there. And on some of the larger pumps, they actually come with a double outlet. So let me show you my bigger pump up here, right next to my Flintstones vitamins, which I take. So this is the largest Tetra Whisper, I believe, and this actually comes with two outlets. So you can see I have two airlines hooked in right there, and I use that so that I only use one going into my main tank, but I keep my quarantine tank right under, and so I have a second airline set up for whenever I need to use my quarantine tank. So along with your air pump, you're going to need to get airline tubing, which basically is just this flexible plasticky tubing. It comes in a few different colors. Usually it comes in this clear color, a blue color, and black. And you can choose whichever one best fits your aquarium or goes with the background, whatever. And make sure you get the appropriate sizing. There's usually different lengths. If you have a small aquarium, you're not going to need much. If you have a larger aquarium, you'll probably need a little bit more. So you're going to need the tubing, airline tubing, and then you're also going to need an air stone. And there's lots of different options for air stones. I have a few different ones here. These blue kind are kind of the standard run-of-the-mill air stones. There's a littler one. These are the ones that I first bought when I first set up my my first tank, which was a 10 gallon. And I actually hate these air stones. I'm sure that some people like them. I don't like them. They tend to float up if you don't have gravel. I don't know. I just don't really like the look of them, I guess. But these ones tend to be the cheapest ones, and they definitely work. So if that's, if you like these and you don't have a lot of money, these can work great. And then, there's smaller ones like this. And this one's actually from goldfishconnection.com if anybody's interested. And this one sinks really well, and it stays put really well. I use these typically on my quarantine tanks. And then there are bubble walls, or bubble wands is usually what they're referred to as. And right now all I have is flexible bubble wands. And these are actually my favorite. So you'll see there's a place for the airline tubing to go in here. And this one's really long because it's for my 40 gallon, but you'll see you can move it around. And this is the same kind of thing that I have running in my tank right now that you'll see on the video. And I just really like these. They stay put pretty well, and I like that you can move them around the plants if you want and kind of set them up different ways. And I just really like the bubbles that come out of them. They tend to be kind of bigger than some of the smaller air stones. And then another example that I don't have one of is the kind of rigid bubble wall. So it's kind of like this, but it's circular, and it usually comes with little, oh, what am I thinking of? Oh, my brain has stopped working for a second here. Bear with me. Suction cups, there we go. Suction cups, so that you can suction it to the bottom of your aquarium or to the back of your aquarium or wherever you want it. So those are really nice too. Actually, I prefer a bubble wand that goes across the whole aquarium. I just like the look of it, and it also has some benefits, which I'll talk about in a minute. So you'll need your airline tubing, your pump, your bubble wand. You may also want to pick up some suction cups, and this is for the airline. So these will actually hold your airline to your aquarium wall so that it's not just free floating. And why they don't put these together for you, you have to stick the little thing in there. It's such a pain. It's so hard to get these in there. I like struggle with it constantly. Anyway, I'm not going to be able to do it, but you get the idea. Like, you hook your airline tubing right in there, and then it holds it flush against the wall wherever you want it to go. So these can be a really nice thing to have too. Other things that you might want, actually that I highly recommend, is a check valve. So this is going to prevent the air or the water from flowing back into your pump and ruining it if you have your pump below your tank and you turn off the power to the pump, or the power shuts off at your house or whatever. The water can flow back into the pump and ruin it. And this little check valve will actually stop the water. So this is a great thing to have. I highly recommend just throwing one of these on yours. They're really cheap. They're like, you know, $1 or $2. And it can just save your pump from being destroyed by water. So that's a good thing to get. And you'll see on this, it has a little in and out. So the airline from your pump would go in this one, and the airline going to your aquarium would go out here. And you can check that if your check valve doesn't have like a little sticker on it or something that tells you, you can check by just blowing in it and see if you can blow or not. And if you can blow, you're facing the right way. Some other different little things. This is a little, I forget what these are called now, but it basically has a little knob that turns the airflow up or down. So these can be really good if you get a pump that's larger than is needed for your aquarium. So if it's kind of really heavily powered and you're getting tons of bubbles and your fish is flying all around because of it, you can get one of these and you just put it in your airline, and you can turn down the amount of air that's going to the pump or turn it up. And I use these sometimes for my quarantine tank if I have a fish that's really not doing so well and is, you know, kind of listless, and the airstone is going to really push them around. I'll use this to kind of dampen down the amount of air that's coming through the airstone. So that's a nice one. And the other thing is this little T-valve, which is really nice too. So if you have a pump that only has one outlet, but you want to run 2 airstones in your tank, you can use this little T-valve to actually split your airline into 2. So you can have 2 airstones running. So basically, your airline would go from here to your pump, and then you would have an airline coming off this way and an airline coming off that way, and you can connect 2 airstones to it. So that's really nice if you want to have like a pump or a airstone at either end of your tank or something like that. Or if you want to put an airstone to a second tank, but you only have a pump that has one outlet. So I think that covers the accessories. So I'll show you guys kind of how to set it up. Okay, so now that we have everything, we are ready to set up our air pump and air stone. So you're going to take your air pump and just connect your airline tubing to the outlet there, just like that. And then you're going to connect your check valve to that piece of airline, just like this, and make sure it's going the right way. Then you're going to take another piece of airline tubing and connect that to the check valve. And I actually use a shorter piece of airline tubing to connect to the check valve usually than I'm showing you here. These just happen to be a couple pieces of airline tubing that I had laying around, so they are not cut to the right size. So after you've attached your second piece of airline, you're going to take that end and attach it to your air stone, whatever air stone you decide to get. So like that. And then your air stone's going to go right in the tank, and plug in your air pump and you should be good to go. The thing you want to think about is the placement of your air pump. I highly recommend that if you can, try to put it up above your aquarium. This will totally prevent any water from leaking back into your air pump and ruining it. So you can see I keep mine way up here on a shelf above my aquarium. If you can't keep it on top, you can store it below, and just make sure you're using a check valve and that should be fine. The other thing that you want to think about in terms of placement is where you place your air stone. So if you have a tank where only one filter is going, like if I only had this one filter over here, I would place my air stone way over at the other end of the tank, just so that I get some more circulation in my tank. You also want to make sure that you don't put the air stone so that it's running straight up into the filter. You don't want your filter to be sucking up the air from the air stone. This can cause noise in your filter and can also potentially cause some issues with your filter. So that's just one other thing to think about when you're putting your air stone in. So one question I hear a lot is, do I actually have to have an air stone in my tank? And people ask this for a number of reasons. They may not like the sound of the air pump. The tank may be in the bedroom, so the sound of the air pump's too loud, or they just don't like the look of the air stone. My quick answer to this is yes, you should have an air stone. It's ideal that you have an air stone and an air pump. And the reason that I believe this, and there's, you know, differing views on this, and I totally accept that. The reason that I think an air stone is important is that, for one, it helps to aerate the tank, and goldfish, you know, benefit from this extra aeration and oxygen and, you know, diffusing of gases that the air stone helps with. The other reasons are that it can help to increase circulation at the bottom of your tank, which is really a nice thing. It can help to kind of pull up pieces of poo that might be stuck in a corner and bring it to the filter. It also decreases the number of dead spaces that you have in the bottom of your tank, so kind of just dead, stagnant water, you know, especially if you only run one filter on your tank and you don't have a filter on either end. There can be, you know, kind of dead spots of water at one end of your tank where your filter isn't sucking up and spitting back out water. It just helps to, you know, overall create movement in the tank and oxygenate it, and I think that they're a great thing. And I also really like the way that they look in an aquarium, but that's obviously my own personal opinion. So if you're totally dead set against having an air stone, or you can't have one for some reason, or you can't afford one right now, or, you know, whatever the case may be, there are ways to get around it. An air stone is not totally, absolutely necessary. So the best way to get around having an air stone is to decrease the water level on your tank so that your filters splash against the surface a little bit. So I'll show you my top of my tank right now. My water level's pretty high. You can see it's right about up to the top. It has evaporated a little bit in the last couple days because it's been hot here. But you'll see that this filter is definitely, it's splashing a little bit. But for really aerating the tank, I would actually drop the filter or the water level down a little bit more so that I'm getting more splash, and you know, I would see more bubbles coming down into the tank from that filter. If you have a spray bar, spray bars can be a great way to, you know, create aeration in your tank if you just pull it up a little bit. I usually keep mine below the water level just to reduce the amount of noise. But if you pull it up, you can see that it sprays right on the surface and will create some nice bubbles there. But obviously, you know, if you're worried about the noise of an air pump, decreasing your water level and letting your filter hit the surface and splash is also going to create some noise. So I guess it kind of just depends on personal preference. And I think that that method can work with small tanks. I don't highly recommend it for larger tanks. You know, if you have like you know, a 60, 100 gallon, that sort of thing, I would recommend having an airstone and not doing the filter splash method, just because the tank is so deep that it's really beneficial to have that airstone running and creating circulation at the bottom of the tank. Yeah, so that's my opinion on that. The other thing that you want to think about in terms of placement of your airstone and your air pump and all that is where you place your airstone. So if you have a tank where only one filter is going, like if I only had this one filter over here, I would place my airstone way over at the other end of the tank, just so that I get some more circulation in my tank. You also want to make sure that you don't put the airstone so that it's running straight up into the filter. You don't want your filter to be sucking up the air from the airstone. This can cause noise in your filter and can also potentially cause some issues with your filter. So that's just one other thing to think about when you're putting your airstone in. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope that this was helpful to some people. Let me know if you have any comments or questions, and I will try my best to answer and respond.